Hey guys, it's Tony, and I am back doing what I love once again. And thank you guys for sticking with me. Thank you guys for the support on the vlog that I did yesterday. So thank you very much. Well, not yesterday, Tuesday, I should say. And today I'm going to be talking about something I've just found on the internet, which is really interesting to me personally, because I love astronomy and all that sort of stuff. So apparently, the UK wants to set up a solar superstorm board. Basically what this is, they have predicted once again the once in a century what they call solar superstorm. Basically what it is the sun generates power, and it generates a radioactive solar wind. Basically what these are, they are overcharged particles, but they happen at a more accelerated rate for a certain amount of time, and that's what causes, the aurora borealis and aurora australis, or the northern and southern lights, for people who don't know what that is. And basically, the UK wants to set up a UK space weather board, and it says here, it's a key recommendation made to the government in a report from the Royal Academy of Engineering. Now, I don't really know anything about the Royal Academy of Engineering, because I'm not an engineering kind of guy. But it says here, the board would lead and supervise government strategy for coping with a massive radiation blast from the sun that could possibly trigger blackouts, knock out 1 in 10 satellites that are orbiting the Earth, and disrupt aircraft and shipping navigation. Now, this is really interesting because people have been going on about this, for a long time. People expected it was going to happen at the end of the world, the supposed end of the world, I should say. So, this could be really good, like, information wise, if it doesn't overload the computers. They'll get a massive amount of information from our sun, because it'll be the first time we've ever had to record on such magnitude, because we didn't have them we didn't have such powerful computers. We didn't have computers in the 1900s and the 1800s. It says here, statistically, a solar superstorm is most likely to occur once every 200 years, but it does happen on a regular basis. So the last known superstorm is known as the Carrington event that occurred in 1859. But I mean, by regular basis, I mean the aurora borealis and aurora australis, just in the northern and southern lights. That's basically all that is, and it happens, all the time. I've been to Iceland. Okay, I've watched the aurora borealis and northern lights, and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It was absolutely amazing. I wish I could find some pictures. If I can find them pictures, I'll put a couple at the end of this video, because they were amazing. But continuing on with this, experts now warn that another solar superstorm on the scale of the Carrington event is inevitable. That's what it says here, and Britain should be prepared for this. Professor Paul Cannon, who I guess is he's chairman of the Academy, who, for the engineering, the Royal Academy of Engineering. It says, the two challenges for governments are the wide spectrum of technologies affected and the emergence of unexpected vulnerabilities. The Academy recommends that governments set up a space weather board to oversee these issues across government departments. Basically, I think what that means is it's talking about how technology will be affected and how it could possibly affect, especially like government computers, those that hold a large amount of information that should not be shared with anyone. So there might be a huge concern over that. I think they're just telling them to make sure that they have to find a way to save all this information before it comes out, it might cause hacking. This thing, who knows? It might cause internet hacking. It might knock down firewalls. It could do anything. So they're really not looking forward to what's going to happen here and what could happen. Around 1 in 10 orbiting satellites could be knocked out for days during a superstorm event. Those kept operating would be aged enormously, making it necessary for many to replace. Now, this is not a good thing. Your TVs, your radios, all this sort of stuff, they're beamed by satellites. Well, no, actually, my radios are radio waves from radio towers, but like your internet, let's take Skype, it all uses satellites around the world, helps you connect to one another. So if this happens, this could knock out everything to do with internet. Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, the internet itself, Skype, Facebook, you name it, it will go down and it will be gone. And it says it aged enormously. Now we know that satellites don't have ages, but what it means is it means that it will go past its, you know, its lifespan sort of thing. It'll go past its lifespan like a lot. So instead, let's say this satellite needs to be replaced every 20 years. It might be after this event they might have to replace it within 5 years. So, you know, that's going to cost a hell of a lot of money to get the satellites into space. That means building more rockets with the fuel. I did know the name of the fuel. I can't remember the name of it, but if I remember it, then I'll randomly come out with it. But yeah, that's going to cause more pollution. And I know they say, but there's no pollution in it. But yeah, but if you think about it, water and oxygen are technically greenhouse gases anyway. So it just depends how that will go, and that will cost a lot of money just to get it back up again. It doesn't say how long they'll be out, but I can guess it will be for a very long time. GPS signals will be interrupted from 1 to 3 days after the storm hit satellite transmissions. As a result, sat-nav systems will be rendered inoperable, which is a good thing because I don't like them anyway. But for people who rely on sat-navs, say lorry drivers, transport workers, that sort of thing, that's going to make it incredibly hard for them to do their job if they've never been to that sort of area before. So, yeah, that's going to affect, you know, money in all sorts of cases, and we really do not want that. What's the last one? Space engineer Keith Ryden from the University of Surrey is another member of the working group, and he said the most likely scenario is the data elements get corrupted. This is what I was going about earlier with, you know, like the government computers and this sort of thing. It is possible that individual chips could fail, but it means by individual chips he means like in your computer you've got chips, ECUs, all this sort of stuff. Like in your car, for example, you've got ECUs, and they are controlled by chips that constantly run around the clock to help your car be as efficient as possible and do the best of its job as possible. They would take a knock, and you know, God, we don't know what these effects could be. They could have very little effect, or they could make it so. Let's take ECU for I don't know. Let's take windscreen wipers in a car. Your ECU for the windscreen wipers might make them so they're on constantly, or maybe never work again. So it could go either way. This thing, it could be minor, or it could be incredibly major. So we just have to wait and see about that, I'm afraid. The systems are designed to cope with a certain amount of failure, but it will not be able to cope with what the solar wind will perform, which is obviously acceptable because we haven't experienced this. Technology has never experienced this size before, so this is going to be incredibly interesting. But he did add, we're not talking about aircraft dropping out of the sky, so it's good that we're not going to expect planes to crash. That's going to cause deaths to thousands of people. So that's always a good bonus. But I think they'll make it so when it hits, they're not going to allow planes to fly for, you know, next 3 or 4 days. That would be what I'd do anyway, because yeah, it's stupid putting that many people at risk, and you know, no one wants that. It's thousands of people. It's just not worth it. Come on, it would be horrible just for a disaster, just because something that was done naturally by the sun, and you know that's horrible. So that's pretty much everything on the call for solar superstorm board. How long have I got on the video? About a minute left. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I found this really interesting. That's all the information that I've got so far that I've gone through and what I think it might mean. So I'm gonna keep going through these, and maybe tomorrow I think I'll upload something different. Maybe not politics. Politics is flood defense schemes. That'll be interesting. So I really hope you enjoyed this, guys, and I'll talk to you about something more trivial in the next commentary. So I'll see you guys later. Cheers, guys.